your hands out.
Okay, before we get to the note, I know a lot of you think you know what's going on, but trust me, TikTok simply won't let me show you everything. So, even if you're in the J Squad and have been watching all the parts, make sure you stick around to see never before seen footage. Speaking of the J Squad, for those of you who have already joined, thanks for being a part of the family. We're glad to have you on board. And if you want to join our spooky family, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. While we're on the topic, don't forget to leave your comments so I can pick my favorite subscriber comments and post them on the next video. Speaking of which, these are my favorite subscriber comments from the last video. And as a special bonus, right now I'm offering 10% off all merch and books, so be sure to grab your J Squad coupon code in the link below. Okay, now let's get to it. About a week ago, I woke up with an awful feeling in my stomach. I couldn't pinpoint it, but it was something I had never experienced before. The sun came in my window with this gloomy gray instead of its bright normal sunshine. It wasn't until I got up and looked outside my window that I saw why I had that feeling. That intuition was my garden. It had vanished overnight. And the strangest part is, I didn't hear a sound. The slightest noise outside and Cooper is at full guard dog, barking like a maniac. I love him, but he gets crazy when anybody's ever outside, so any noise would have been detected, but we didn't hear a thing. So obviously, I was freaking out. Where did my plants go? How did they just disappear? Did somebody take them? I had spent years on that garden, literally over a decade. The vines had literally grown into the foundation of my building, and somehow they had all just vanished overnight. There had to be some explanation. Needless to say, I was already freaked out, but it only added to the horror when I found this in the place of where my plants once were. I thought it must be a witch totem, and it didn't look anything like the one that I had buried. So I went to my witch neighbor for help. When we got inside, she began looking through all of her books, and she couldn't find any match for the totem. But she had another idea. She was gonna prepare a spell, but in order to do it the right way, she had to clear my mind first, and she did that by preparing some tea. It tasted really weird, but it definitely cleared my mind. Almost too much. Okay guys, it's time for some never before seen footage. Take a look at the conversation I had with my witch neighbor as she was preparing her spell.
Ash from the remnants of Pompeii, very powerful stuff, filled with tragedies.
Ashes
And
of
then,
Pompeii.
of course, you have olive oil.
How do you get that bottled?
Of course.
So it doesn't stick together.
Olive oil, of course.
The cocoa nut.
After I inhaled that potion, my mind was completely blank. That's when she put her hands up to mine, and the instant they made contact, she drew back with a horrible gasp. She explained that the potion was to help track the incanter. Okay guys, time for some more never before seen footage. This is how Bronwyn described how she would track this spell. Take a look.
It'll be like you know, like Find My iPhone?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Okay.
You get that?
Yeah.
Caller ID for spells? But she didn't see a thing, only darkness, a vast void of energy. Now, a lot of you know that I'm new to this stuff, but it's not that I don't believe in it, it's just that it scares me a little. But I told her I was open and willing. She recommended a protection spell, and I accepted. She explained that it would keep everything in my house safe, and that it would keep any more items from disappearing. But as soon as she finished the spell, a storm broke out. Lightning struck right in front of our door. It wasn't raining before, but there was a sudden downpour, and as soon as it started, it stopped. Bronwyn and I nearly jumped out of our chairs. It wasn't from the lightning or the thunder. When we looked to the door, we saw a giant figure in the frame. So of course, we checked it out right away. But as soon as you opened the door, the figure was gone. And in its place was this letter. At the time, it was completely soaked, and it was even more illegible. But as you can see, there's almost no letters you can make out. As if the storm didn't creep me out enough, this note definitely was the cherry on top. I wanted to throw the note away immediately, but Bronwyn suggested that we do one last spell. Even though she couldn't track the incanter, she was able to pull a little information from the writing that was left on the paper. Okay guys, time for some more never before seen footage. Take a look at the spell my neighbor cast when she was trying to find out more about the note.
I know it's somebody that you know wrote this.
Really?
So, as you could see, all she could tell is that it was someone I knew. Right when she said that, the hair on the back of my neck stood up straight. Someone I knew? Who could it possibly be? Why would they steal all my plants, then show up in the middle of the night, leave a note, and disappear? It made no sense. I was furious. I had to know who it was. Was the note from somebody who stole my plants? That's when I was ready to storm out. But she warned me not to proceed with so little information. I did not heed her caution, and I ran out the door. Right when I did, I saw the figure. He was standing in another doorway again. And this time, when I went up to him, he turned around. Only something told me to run. So I did, and I went right home, locked all my doors, looked out my window, and he was gone. As soon as I got inside, all of my lights started to flicker, and they went out one by one. I was left in the dark. That's when my cell phone rang, but no one answered. As if that wasn't enough, somebody started pounding on my door. I went straight to it and opened it up right away, but there was no one there. But there was a note for me. waterlogged and illegible, but definitely meant for me. Of course, I recognized the same blue handwriting, so I called Bronwyn right away, and she came over to compare the notes. We could tell they were from the same person, but we still couldn't tell what it said. Okay, now let's have a little talk. Josh to J Squad. I know a lot of you have noticed that I've been spending a lot of time with my neighbor, and it's true, I have. I can't deny it, but it's kind of been for a good reason, right? I needed her help every time. She had become one of my good friends. I mean, after all, she is my next door neighbor. And one more thing I want to show you before I tell you what I'm about to tell you is this is what the setup looked like. Yeah. A lot of candles. The power being out definitely didn't help. Okay, so we were there comparing the notes by candlelight when I felt something in my stomach. No, it wasn't my lunch, it was the butterflies. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. We were sitting closer and closer, and before I knew it, my knee was touching hers, and I could smell her perfume. Okay guys, time for some more never before seen footage. Check out the conversation I'm talking about I had with Bronwyn. You'll get what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Are you wearing a perfume or something?
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Oh wow, that is really nice.
Then all the lights just came back on right when we were about to. Yeah. Anyway, so long story short, we came to the conclusion that the notes were from the same person. And once the lights came on, we could read part of the note very clearly. It said, "I'm sorry, your plants are gone." So whoever laid these notes knew they were my plants, knew that it was at my neighbor's house, and knew that I knew that they were gone. So they were trying to tell me with a note? Who is this? Bronwyn had one last spell up her sleeve to help identify the handwriting, since we could see some of it. And I was shocked at when I found out who it was. Her spell revealed that it was somebody we both know. Who do we both know that wants to kill my plants? Okay, J Squad, here's some never ever before seen footage. This is the conversation where Bronwyn told me who wrote the note and took my plants. Take a look for yourself.
What?
Richard.
Richard?
Richard Coop.
Our landlord?
Yeah.
That's right, Richard Coop. My landlord! Why did he take my plants? After some more investigating, I talked to my landlord and I found out a few things. He had received a letter from his insurance company that said I had to move all my plants for safety reasons, and he didn't want to bother me with the task, so he moved them himself. He didn't take them, no one stole them. He actually moved them into the courtyard, and I gotta say, they look really great there. Just a little relocation, that's all. Do I miss the plants on my patio? Yes, terribly. When I talked to Richard, he explained everything. He was trying to do it himself to be helpful. He left the notes on the doors to let us know, but the rain washed them away. And that he was the one who was calling me my cell phone, warning me that they were having to do maintenance on the electricity. And here's the real kicker. When he saw this in my house, he asked me why I brought in the broken half of the bird's nest. That's right, this is a broken half of an abandoned bird's nest. Who knew? I guess what this has taught me is that I just need to go with the flow and let the universe take me where it needs to take me. I find that when you fight the universe, it usually has a way of always working out in the universe's favor. So what I've learned is just listen to the universe. And usually things work out okay. So I'll miss my plans, absolutely. But I'm looking forward to what positive change this brings in the future. All right, J Squad, that's all for tonight. But remember, trust in the universe and the universe will trust in you. Sending my love over and out. Hey, are you still here? Well, since you stuck around, why don't you check out some of these other cool videos? And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell.